Okay. So that will open up the chat box, and I'll be pasting things in that chat box. And by the way, I'll tell you when I'm doing that so that there is no confusion. And that would be what we're going to be working on at that particular instance. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this one sentence. Okay. And hopefully cut and paste is working. And then I want you to repeat it for me. And did it work? I believe it did. So, Keiko, could you pronounce that sentence that's in your chat box?
Okay. Roy left the rice in the red trolley.
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 Now,
yeah.
the TR is difficult. That's a difficult combination. It is a consonant cluster, and it's very difficult to pronounce because you're coming off a consonant, which is a T, right?
Right.
And you're rolling it into the R, which is a difficult word, difficult sound to pronounce anyway. So trolley, you're coming off the T, and what happens is if you put your hand in front of your mouth like this, right? So it's flat. So it's trolley. So your tongue is actually doing off the T. It's coming trolley.
Trolley.
Right. Now, we'll get to the L part of it, but let's do the TR first. Trolley.
Trolley.
Right. Your tongue.
Trolley.
Right. Your tongue should be doing what your mouth is doing, what your hand is doing. Trolley.
Trolley.
Right now.
Trolley.
Now to get to the, you're getting it. That is the word trolley. Now to get the L, it's an L sound, which is L. The tongue is on that little ridge behind your teeth. That's the L. So that's trolley.
Trolley.
Right. So what I ask, for my students to do is to break the word down when you practice it, so that you're not trying to say that's a complicated word, trolley. You're not trying to say trolley. You're trying to say trolley, and
trolley,
and then you put it together eventually. So keep practicing trolley. Just keep doing
trolley. Trolley.
Right. Now you're having difficulty with the O because the O isn't pronounced tro. In this instance, it's an ah. So it's trolley.
Trolley.
Right. Trolley.
Trolley.
Right. So as you and I'm glad to see that you're overemphasizing it, because I do recommend that all the time. Overemphasize your pronunciations when you're practicing. Trolley.
Trolley.
Remember, it's an ah. Trolley.
Trolley.
Now, and keep practicing it that way, by the way. But then you transition into the one word and you say trolley, and you slowly bring it into the norm, right? So you go from trolley. Trolley, right? So if you practice it that way, you'll eventually get it. And it, like I said before, it's muscle memory. And you'll start your mouth will just say the words. Okay, so, all right, Cunio, could you try that sentence?
Roy left the rice in the red trolley.
Trolley, yeah.
Trolley.
Right. So that's pretty good, because this is one of the most difficult sounds to make, is the R, right? So keep in mind that to make an R, when you make that R sound, the tip of the tongue is raised, right? It's like you're saying E. So let's start with an E, or E, right? The sides the tongue is touching the sides of your inside of your molars, right? L, E, E, E. And as you're saying E, just bring your tongue back and point it up, but don't let it touch. Ear. Ear. Your tongue curls up and it turns into ear. Ear. Very good. That's an R. So that's how you pronounce your R. The other way to practice an R is to actually do what I was doing with Kaku, which is if you envision your hand, and if I hadn't destroyed my arms and my hands when I was younger, it'd be easier. But this is your tongue, and you're saying right? That's what your tongue is doing. This is what your tongue is doing. So it's ear. So trolley. So those are, that's how you're going to get to the R. And that is not easy. So some of the other ways to master an R is to growl like a bear, right? So what does a bear sound like? A bear or a dog sounds like right? That's an R. Right? That's an R. That's an R. There's no getting around it. Your dog is making an R when he growls, or a lion. That's a line. That's an R. Right? So what we want to do is to make sure that you're when you practice the R, that you focus on it, because that is such a hard letter to pronounce or sound to make. Your tongue is doing something that's not normal for your tongue to do because it's curling inside your mouth. It's right. So and you're kind of pulling the whole tongue back. Actually, it's and when you combine it with other sounds, it'll be difficult. But it's a sound that if you practice, boom, you get it. You will get it. That's one of those sounds. And the good thing about the sound is that because it's so difficult to pronounce, that when you get it, you know you got it. So that's a good feeling, that to be able to master the R. So let's try a few more examples, and I'm going to cut and paste some words here. And what this is that the R is going to be at the beginning of the sentence, right, of the word, I should say, right? So let me see why that didn't. Okay, there it is. So Cunio, why don't you try that first? The words that are right there.
Right, race, really, problem, traffic, frog.
Try it again. That was very good, though.
Right, race, really, problem, traffic, frog.
That was outstanding. You because let me tell you something. The reason that we put these words in here is because they're so difficult, because there are so many R and L's mixed together.
Yes.
That makes it really hard to do, right? So, and that's how you, and exactly how you said it, by the way, that's how you practice it. You overemphasize the R, you overemphasize the L, really, right? So keep doing that. Now, Kaku, you try that.
Right, race, really, problem, traffic, frog.
Okay, try that again.
Right, race, really, problem, traffic, frog.
Okay, so you're having a little, not a problem, but I can hear that the transition is a little bit rougher than it should be, or not that it should be, but it could be in really, right? Because it's really. It's
really.
Like really.
Really.
Right, you have to get to that L sound, which is really.
Really.
Right, and don't worry about whether you're saying the words perfectly. It's the pronunciation of the sounds that we're working on that need to, and you're hitting them right.
Mhm.
The other parts we work on in other sessions, but really is a difficult word, and we've covered that. It was now problem is another very. Why don't you hit me on that word?
Really.
Now hit the. What's the next word?
Oh yeah. Problem.
Right. You see how that one is easier
Mhm.
than the really, because the
Mm.
really is coming off a diphthong, which diphthongs are difficult. That's why I didn't bother about the EA part, but it's the
Mhm.
L is following that diphthong, and that becomes difficult because that's supposed to be one sound, right?
Right.
R,
Right.
the R, but the EA is also one sound, but that's really two sounds. Really,
Really.
but it's leading into the L. So you're doing so many things in that one word, right?
Mhm.
So it
Mhm.
can be confusing. So
Right.
for your
Right.
mouth, it's confusing. You know what you want to say. And that's why, by the way, what we do here with immediate feedback is we tell you,
Mhm.
wait a minute, really, because if you're doing it any other way, you're going to practice it wrong. So
Mhm.
you want to practice it correctly. And the only way you do that is because sometimes you say things and you think you're saying them right? I mean, we
Mhm.
all do that. But
Mhm.
until somebody said, wait a minute, that's not how you say it. So it's really
Really.
right. You see, that was it.
Mm.
That's exactly how you pronounce the word. Now say
Mm.
problem.
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 Right. See how when you overemphasize it,
Mhm.
your mouth starts to say the right sound. So it's problem.
Problem.
Right. Eventually, you won't say it that way. Eventually, you'll just say problem. Right.
Problem.
Right. So that's why we do this, so that you can practice that. Now, that's
Mhm.
when it's at the beginning or in the middle. But here is a different set of issues on the R, and that's when it's at the end of a word.
Mhm.
When an R is at the end of a word, it poses a problem for American speakers.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you've done a lot of business up in New England, for example, when you were here. But I can tell you right now that the way we're going to pronounce these words is not how they pronounce it in Boston. That's a given. Okay, so why don't Kako, why don't you do this one?
Car. Meter. Prefer. Bear. Shower.
Okay, very good, very good. You see how at the end it's kind of easier, right? Because you're not
Mm.
to another one, so you can actually pronounce the word. Junio, why don't you try it?
Yes, car, meter, prefer, beer, shower.
Right. You see how at the end of a word it's easier because you're
Yes,
ending with that sound, right?
yes.
Versus ending and jumping into another sound when it's at the beginning. Now,
Mhm.
here's what I'm talking about, how that word, when it's at the end, the sound is at the end of a word, is so much more difficult. If I'm from Boston,
Mhm.
I don't say car, right? I don't say car. I say cat,
Cat.
right?
Mm.
Cat. Meter. I don't say meter. I say meter. Prefer. I prefer. Bear is bear. They don't pronounce their R's up there. Remember we were talking about how
Mhm.
different regions, even in the United States, people pronounce it, differently, right? If you're in California, they overemphasize the R's, right? So they're going to say car.
Oh.
I have a new car, or I mean, really, that's how they speak.
Yeah.
I know this because my son lives in California, or or meter. I have to put money in the meter. That's not how we would say it here, but it's different pronunciations. Same, but you still get the communication. The
Mhm.
communication is there. I know what you're saying. I know that it's a car. I know that if you say cat or car or car, I know what you mean. So the pronunciation is there. It's how the intonation and the emphasis that might be a little different. So when you practice this, we practice it correctly, and then regionally it might change, right? So let's try these. These are really interesting. And they're hard, by the way. Don't think that these are easy ones, because these are difficult. These are tongue twisters. We do this in every session for every pronunciation. And students usually have a lot of fun with this because it is difficult. Now, when I was a kid growing up on TV shows, they would have contests. So you would have to say these things 3 times fast, and they would eliminate people. And at the end of that session, whoever was still standing won like $500 or whatever the gift was at that point. But we're not going to do that because I don't have $500 to give anybody. So we're just going to pronounce we're just going to say the first tongue twister. And let me start it. As the roaring rocket rose, the restless monsters rollicked, right? So as the roaring rocket rose, the restless monsters rollicked. Okay? Cuneo, try it.
As a roaring rocket rose, the restless monster rollicked.
Right. Very good. All right, try the next one too.
Richard gave Robin a rap in the ribs for rolling his rabbit so rare.
Okay, so here is another very common issue that Japanese speakers in particular have when they're native Japanese speakers have, is adding an extra, like a small O to a word where it's a consonant, right? So try that one more time, but listen to yourself and what you're saying. Ready? Go.
Richard gave Robin a rap in the ribs for rolling his rabbit so rare.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, most of that was right. Where you run into an issue is in Japanese, you don't have some of these combination of sounds, like RIBS is ribs.
Ribs, yes.
Ribs, right?
Ribs.
Very common for native Japanese speakers to say ribs.
Ribs.
Because you add a small O in between consonant clusters. Now that's a consonant cluster, and that's something that I spend about an hour with the students doing. One whole session goes to that. But ribs, so if you pronounce that, it's ribs.
Ribs.
So try the whole sentence again, right?
Richard gave Robin a rap in the ribs.
Yeah, ribs.
His rabbit so rare.
Ribs. So it's RIBS. So the way it's pronounced from the B, instead of the B is pronounced, it's bilabial, B, right? It's B. That's how you pronounce it, or that's how you form the sound. But in this instant, because it's followed by a consonant, instead of B, it's you hold it in, you don't explode it. You go right into the S. Bzz, bzz. It's like a B. Bzz. So it's ribs.
Ribs.
Right. Very good. That was it. You got it there. Ribs. Right. You see how you didn't say the little O? You went right into it because the B and S is like a bee buzzing around. Bzz. Ribs. Right. You see how easy that is? Bzz.
Yeah.
Because it's a difficult sound. I understand it because it doesn't exist in Japanese. You don't have those kinds of sounds. And this is several languages don't have that sound, by the way. So try it one more time.
Richard gave Robin a rap in the ribs for rolling his rabbit so rare.
Right. So I was listening more for the ribs than anything else, and you got that right. So that's great. I mean, that's progress right there. All right. So, Kaku, why don't you try those?
As the roaring rocket rose, the restless monster rollicked.
Okay. You had trouble with restless.
Yes.
Try it again.
Restless.
Right. Restless. Right.
Restless.
Right. So you can almost In fact, we haven't covered it yet. This is something that we cover later on, but it's you almost lose that T in restless. You almost
restless.
You almost lose the L. You almost go to restless. Restless.
Restless.
You don't say. Try not pronouncing the T. Just
okay. Restless.
Right. Exactly.
Restless.
When you see the video, do that because that's exactly what it is. You ignore the T in that sound because it's so faint that most American speakers don't pronounce it. We just say, we're restless.
Restless.
But you have to pronounce the L. Restless. Right. Right. And that E, by the way, takes on a different sound also, and that's also it's a schwa. It's a schwa in that case, which is really it's taking a vowel and it gives it like almost an sound or a sound. So it's restless. But
restless.
Yeah, you're saying it perfectly, by the way. That's perfect. But yeah, so I'm not going to go into what the other sound, that schwa sound, because that's a whole different animal. But you're saying it right. So try the sentence one more time.
As the roaring rocket rose, the restless monsters rollicked.
Very good. That's a hard one because you're combining R's and L's, and it's rollicked. You're right, rollicked. So try that.
Rollicked.
Right. And when you practice it, you practice it exactly how you just said it. Rollicked.
Rollicked.
Right. Exactly. Now try the next one.
Richard gave Robin a rap in the ribs for roasting his rabbit so rare.
Okay, so this is a hard one because that's a lot of R's. Richard gave Robin a rap in the ribs for roasting his rabbit so rare. So sometimes what you want to do is, and I know this is really hard because it's not a native way to speak, but you create a cadence. So Richard gave Robin a rap in the ribs for roasting his rabbit so rare. Right? Da 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 da. That helps with the pronunciation. Of course, you wouldn't speak that way, but it helps with the pronunciation. So why don't you try it again?
Richard gave Robin a rap in the ribs for roasting his rabbit so rare.
Okay, but you're pronouncing all of your R's as an L. So focus on that rabbit. Growl that R. Richard gave
Robin a rap in the ribs for roasting his rabbit so rare.
Perfect. Beautiful. That was perfect. That's a hard sentence. So you and Cunio got that pretty well and pretty fast too. So let's go to the other side of the coin. Let's do this word, this set of words, and because you're doing so well, and I don't want you to do so well, try this sentence. You see where we're going here? You try it, Paco.
Little lettuce, lentil soup.
Try it again.
Little lettuce, lentil soup.
Very good. You got all those L's right. That's a hard one too, right? That's a lot, but we're not done yet. So, all right, Kaku, you do it.
Little lettuce, lentil soup.
Okay, great. That was really good. So the L, right? You want to remember keep that. Your tongue actually touches the ridge behind your teeth. The R goes almost there, but never touches, right? So that's the difference between the L and the R. The L touches the top of your mouth, the top of the front, right behind the front of your teeth. The R almost goes there, but curls back a little bit more, right? That's important. So let's practice a little bit more on the L before we go to something a little bit, I think it's going to be a little bit more challenging. but let's try it. So we're at Lisa laughed listlessly. Try that one. Kaku?
Lisa laughed listlessly.
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 Right. We don't pronounce the T in that, remember?
Okay. Yeah, right. Lisa laughed listlessly.
Try it again.
Lisa laughed listlessly.
Very good. Now the next one.
Listen to the local yodel.
Right. Okay. All right, Cunio, you try it.
Lisa laughed listlessly.
Try it again.
Lisa laughed listlessly.
Right. Okay. Try the next one.
Listen to the local yodel.
Try it again. This is an L.
Listen to the local yodel.
Right. So when you're speaking, if you're looking to improve your pronunciation, don't be afraid to slow down and emphasize the sounds. You got them right. So now what I want to do is start to show you a practice that we do, and it seems simple, and it might be simple. I don't know. I don't think it's that simple, by the way, but I've been told it's simple. Let's see if it's simple. So, Cunio, you start right below where it says practice. Say both sets of words all the way down.
Okay. Grass, grass. Roll, roll. Climb, climb. Light, right.
Okay, now you have to pronounce that L.
Yeah.
Glass.
Glass,
Grass.
grass.
Try them both again. Glass and grass.
Glass and grass.
Okay, so overemphasize the L. Glass. Glass. Yeah.
Glass.
Glass and then grass.
Grass.
Right, so it's glass, grass.
Grass.
Law,
Low,
raw.
roll,
Climb,
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 crime.
climb, climb.
Light and right.
Light and right.
Light
Light,
and right.
right.
Right. So what this should see, this is, I mean, I don't think this is simple. I don't think this is simple at all. These are very difficult words,
Yes.
but it requires so much focus because you're coming off, especially glass and grass, you're coming off a G, which is back here, and your tongue is pronouncing the L and the R. So it's like glass and grass.
Grass.
Right. So, Cunio, that's what you would need to practice this particular set because that's giving you difficulty. Glass and grass.
Grass.
Law and raw.
Law. Law.
Law.
Law.
Law and raw. Remember, the L is formed with the tongue on the alveolar ridge, which is right here behind your front teeth. Law.
Law.
Very good. And raw, which is raw.
Raw.
Beautiful. See, that's good. Now let's go back to glass and grass. Glass and grass.
Glass and grass.
Glass
Glass.
and grass.
Grass.
Yeah, don't worry about the S. It's the G-R-A. Gra.
Grass.
Right. You got it right. So these are, I would practice this to no end because those are giving you very good stresses on the L's and the R. Kaku, you try it.
Glass, grass. Roll, roll. Climb, climb.
You said, no, climb.
Climb, climb. Light, right.
Okay, try the whole set again.
Grass, grass. Roll, roll. Climb, climb. Light, light.
Okay, you're try that climb and crime.
Climb, climb.
Right. So it's difficult, right? But the only way to get past the difficulty is to practice it. Practice it and practice it. And always remember that the L, right, is L is the tongue, the tip of the tongue right behind your front teeth on that little ridge up here, right? And that's an L. The R is very similar, but it never touches the top of your mouth. The R curls, but never touches the top of your mouth. So glass and grass.
Glass, grass.
Right, you're getting it right. Try law and raw.
Roll, roll.
Right.
Climb, climb.
Perfect.
Light, right.
Right. So you need to, I would go through this exercise because you're hitting them, but again, you want to be fluent in this. So it's glass, grass, raw, law, raw, climb, crime, light, right. So you like I said, when you practice slowly. Overemphasize the pronunciation. Glass, grass, law, raw, climb, crime. Remember, we growl the R's.
Climb,
Right.
right.
Right. So, let me just check. Okay, so let me come over here. Okay. Here, these are going to be a little bit more difficult than what we've gone through. But I want to expose you to as much of as possible on these R's and L's because they are so difficult, especially when combined, and that is what we're going to do right now. Oh, I didn't. Okay, so okay. Here are words that combine both the R and the L, and this is what we've been having trouble. Excuse me. So let me go first. Realistic, parallel, celebrate, really. We've all had experience with that really already. So Kako, you start.
Sorry. Realistic, parallel, celebrate, really.
Very good. Try it again.
Realistic, parallel, celebrate, really.
Very good. So that was perfect. I mean, that's exactly how that's pronounced. That's exactly how that's practiced. When you're in conversation, of course, you're going to say it, differently. Not differently, but you're going to say it faster. So it's going to sound different to you. But in reality, you're pronouncing the words exactly how you're pronouncing them now, only faster. So it's going to be, instead of realistic, it's going to be realistic. Right? You see that there's no real difference in how I pronounce it. It just sounds different because the sounds kind of meld together a little bit more. But don't worry about the melding. Practice the pronunciation, the formation of the sound. Cuneo, you try that now.
Realistic, parallel, celebrate, really.
Perfect. Try it again.
Realistic, parallel, celebrate, really.
Beautiful. So that's unusual because it actually, these are the words that I think should give trouble. I mean, give everybody a problem, and yet you got them all right. So, and you're pronouncing them correctly, and you're getting the right intonation, which is great. So let's try some of these. These are always good, especially because they're all R's and L's, and it really reinforces what we've been working on here. So I'll do the first one, and then you folks follow in. So Jerry's jelly berries taste really rare, right? So now the way to say this, of course, is that Jerry's jelly berries taste really rare. But I don't care that you say it that way. Say it slowly, and let's get those pronunciations in there. Go ahead, Cunha.
Jerry's jelly berries taste really rare.
That was very good. Try it again.
Jerry's jelly berries taste really rare.
That was very good. You're getting those R's and L's really well. I mean, that's really good. All right, Kaku, why don't you try that?
Yes. Jerry's jelly berries taste really rare.
That was great. That was perfect. That was perfect. So practice that at that pace, and eventually you'll start getting faster and faster, but that's what you want. You're hitting every R and every L the way they're supposed to be hit. So try the next one, Kaku.
Rory's long.
Try it again.
Rory's
Rory.
long.
Those are two R's there. Rory.
Rory's long rake really rakes really right.
Okay, you're hitting too many R's there. Try it again.
Rory's long rake really rakes really right.
Okay, so the L's off the R is where you're still having a little bit of an issue, but I think it's because you try growling those R's a little bit more. So Rory's lawn, so you can see the distinct difference between a R and a L. So it's Rory's lawn rake rarely rakes really right.
Really right.
Try it, Kaku.
Rory's lawn rake rarely rakes really right.
Try that rarely again.
Rarely.
Rare. Try it as two different sounds.
Yeah. Rarely.
Right. Rare.
Rarely.
Rarely. Right.
Rarely.
That's a hard one. R to L is really hard. But that's the way you do that, the way you practice that is you break it into two different sounds. Rarely.
Rarely.
Right. So it's Rory's lawn rake rarely rakes really right.
Rory's lawn rake rarely rakes really right.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Cunha?
Yes. Rory's long rake rarely rakes really right.
That was great. Try it one more time.
Rory's long rake rarely rakes really right.
Beautiful. That was exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one more. Cunha, you take it.
Next sentence.
Yes, please.
Really, really,
Right.
loudly, rolls readily to the road.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Try it again.
Can I try again?
Yes, please.
Really,
Try it again. Try it again. Start from the beginning.
okay. Really,
Right.
Larry rolls readily to the road.
That's a hard, you got it right. That's a hard one.
Very hard.
Yeah, that is. Kaku?
Uh, sorry. Really, Larry rolls readily to the road.
Oh, man, that was good. That was good. I'm surprised that you got that on the first one because that's a hard one. A really leery Larry rolls readily to the road. Let me tell you something. That hurts when I say it.
Oh,
So you try it again. Try it one more time.
Really,
Leery. Uh-huh.
Larry rolls readily to the road.
Okay, now say it a little bit faster. I want to see what happens.
Really, Larry rolls readily to the road.
So, to the road.
Road.
Right.
Road.
So, all right, so if we're having a conversation, Kaku, and I said to you,
Mhm.
hey, what's going on with Larry? What's he doing? And you answered that. So I'm saying, Kaku, what's going on with Larry? And you read that sentence as the answer to my question.
Really, Larry rolls readily to the road.
Almost. You got Larry wrong now. So the way I would answer it is, hey, what's going on with Larry? I would say, well, a really leery Larry rolls readily to the road, right? So you try it as an answer to my question. What's going on with Larry?
Really, Larry rolls readily to the road.
That's hard, right? So that's why I'm saying when you practice it, you don't practice it as if you were having a conversation because it's too difficult. Right now, you heard that I made a mistake in it too. So it's just difficult because those sounds just want to like bang into one another and come out differently. So when you practice this, you practice it slowly. A really leery Larry rolls readily to the road, nice and slow. Okay. How about if we try that last one? I wasn't going to, but this is very good. Try it, Kaku. The road's load is lessened lightly.
The road's load is lessened lightly.
What is it?
The road's load is lessened lightly.
Very good. Kunio, you try that?
the road is lessened lightly.
Try it again.
The road is lessened lightly.
Right. So when you really focus in on it, you're getting them right. When you don't focus on is when you switch the L's and the R's. So if you focus when you practice, that'll translate to conversational when you're conversational, but you must practice it with a focused view. So it's the road's load is lessened lightly. That's how I would practice it, slowly. And emphasize the R, emphasize the L's. Try one more time, please.
The road is lessened lightly.
You see, when you focus, it comes out exactly the way it's supposed to. So those are some of the L's. And, it's difficult when, that R and the L get combined because they're just two completely different sounds that are formed almost the same, but the sound doesn't necessarily work the same way for a native Japan or Japanese speaker. So what I would like to do is cover this one other section, and I want you to read this for me. And read that for me, Kunio.
Matt made a very nice sound. A soup.
Okay, try one more time.
Matt made a very nice soup.
Very good. Kaku?
Matt made a very nice soup.
No problems there at all. And what this is remember before we were talking about adding a sound to a word to a word that ends in a consonant, or to a sound right after a consonant, especially when it's voiced, like a B, which would be a B, a D, a Z, a G, or a V, or a J, or a V, right? Those sounds generally drive an extra, small O or an extra sound, and it becomes difficult for especially native Japanese speakers. So in linguistics, when we look at, for example, we do look at what the native language is, because then we can tailor the sessions to them. But Japanese native speakers generally have problems with this. So try this first line here, Kaku. The first two. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Dive, love, crave.
The next one.
Young, ring, bag.
Okay. Now, Kunio, could you try those two lines?
Dive, love, crave. Young, ring, bag.
Okay, that was perfect. So, Kaku, when you pronounced young, ring, and bag,
Mm-hmm.
you were right on the cusp. You said them right, but you were hitting the G, for example, very hard. So you were saying young, ring, bag. And that's not that it's incorrect, but when we speak those words, it's young. We're hitting the G, but not aspirating it. So it's young, ring, bag. We're almost not saying it, but we are saying it. Try it again.
Young.
You see,
ring.
You're still saying young. It's okay. Young. Without
young.
Yes, young.
Young. Ring. Young. Ring. Bag.
Okay, so try saying it without saying the G.
Young. Ring. Bag.
You know what? That's English. What you just said there, that's perfect English. Young. And the G is there, believe it or not, because it comes off. You can't say that. You can't say Y-O-N without adding the soft G to it. Mm-hmm. That's how you speak English. So it's young, ring, bag. You kind of say it, but you don't say it forcefully. You don't. It's called releasing. You don't release the G. You don't say young and let it go. Young. No, it's young. Hold the G back. So try it again.
Young, ring, bag.
Oh, that's perfect. Kunio, could you try it that way also?
Young, ring, bag.
Perfect. So, wow. Here's a tongue twister that we use for a variety of reasons, and it has a lot of those sounds, but I'm trying to find where here it is, okay. Good luck. Kunio, you can start.
If Pickford Packard packed a packet of crisps, would the packet of crisps and that Pickard's packers packed survive for 2.5 years?
That was perfect. That's a hard sentence.
Yeah, very hard.
Kaku, could you say that? Could you read that to me?
Yeah, sure. If Pickford Packard packed a packet of crisps, would the packet of crisps that Pickford Packers packed survive for 2.5 years?
That was really good. There were no mistakes from either one of you, which is, I mean, that's unusual because that's a tough sentence because it just involves so much.
Mhm.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into, I'm just scrolling through here. I just want to hear some of these other pronunciations because we're running out of time, but I want to hear some of these pronunciations. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for here. Yeah, okay. So let's try this. Let me see how I do this. Okay. Let's see if we can get this. I won't spend a lot of time. This is a very, very hard combination. So this is going to be for the THs, which are difficult. So Kako, could you do both lines?
Sure. Thin, wrath, moth,
I,
ruth, truth, etc.
don't worry about the etc. I shouldn't have copied.
Okay. Whether, road,
What's that word? What's that word?
load.
Right.
Then, rise, rather.
Very good. Very good. I like that you caught yourself on that. Kunio, could you try that?
Thin, wrath, mouth, sigh, roots, truth, weather, loser, then, right, rather, rather.
Okay, that word is writhe. I know it's a hard word. It's because of the way it's spelled. So you did actually quite well on that. Students usually have a lot of trouble between the voiced TH and the unvoiced TH because of the formation. But you don't seem to have any trouble with that, but that's pretty good. Let's try just one set of the exercise. I just did this morning. Let's try this set. And usually, let's see what happens. All right, so Kunio, could you do this full set of 6 words?
Then, sigh, die, thread, sword, swords,
Yeah.
moth,
Yeah, I mean Martha.
saw,
Right. All right, Kaku?
Then, tie, die, thread, swathe, Martha.
Right. Yeah, it's swath, but that's okay. That's a different pronunciation. That's fine. That was really good. I mean, okay, so let's try this set. Okay, this is a different. Okay. Okay. Let's just try this one line. Actually, let's try this one. Lily's back.
yes.
Okay, let's just try this one. Kako, could you start that one?
Very volatile, that visited several wives.
Try one more time, please.
Very volatile, that visited several wives.
Very nice. Very well done. Kunio, could you try that?
Very volatile, but visited several wives.
All right, try it again.
Very volatile, but visited several wives.
That was very good. Okay. So in this instance, by the way, neither one of you added a sound, which was great. Remember, we worked on that so much before, and I think it's sticking. So that's a really good thing. Is nobody's adding sounds anymore. So I mean, these are the things that we really want to focus on, right? So I do want to try one more exercise. I know that we're out of time, but I do want to try one more exercise, and it's another one of those where there's difficulty because of the sets of words. So Kunio, could you try this?
Wet, vet, west, best, wine, vine, worse, verse.
Very, very good. Now, Kaku, could you take it from there?
Went, bent, whale, veil, wane, bane, wire, beer.
Okay.
Wider.
Now here's the thing about the W. Most people have trouble with W.
Yes.
You don't seem to have any trouble with W or V. So that's not an issue either one of you have. So this is a good sign, because what that says is that other than the stuff that we practiced earlier, the reason that I put it up on the top is because it is the most difficult. Those are the most difficult sounds. The W is a very difficult sound naturally to make. The R, very difficult to make. The L combined with the R, very difficult, right? So, and that's where, you had some issues there, but these, like the W in particular, is a very difficult sound. You don't seem to have any trouble there. Now, what I also do is that I also combine usually the V's with the F's, because it is the same sound. So, and I don't have that in this exercise for this session, but that's something that we do extensively cover in other sessions, and I'll tell you why. And this is something that we have to fix in every single session. The V, right? The V formed exactly like the F.
Yes.
Right? So all it is putting your top teeth on your bottom lip, and you're either going to say a V if you voice it, or an F if you don't, right? So it's either or, and that confuses people all over the place. That's a good thing to practice, right? So, and we do cover that extensively in other sessions. But right now, what we are is out of time. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to join me in the session today. And I do believe that, there's benefit to conversational English. I think it's something that everybody benefits from. Pronunciation is your building block to get to pronunciation. I think you have a lot of good things working for you. So yes, there are areas that you need to work on, and conversation is another area, right? So my suggestion is that you talk to Lily about, whether, and again, it's up to you if you want to pursue these sessions that we offer, because especially the conversation, especially in business. So for example, I do all the business sessions. And for conversation purposes, what I offer is, let's say you want to interview. I walk you through the entire interview process, but I also work with you on your English for the interview. So it's one thing to go to an interview, right? It's another thing to go to the interview and get a job. Right, so that is, Kaka, you were saying it before. You want to be able to go in there and convince them you're the right guy. Now, if you're looking for a job in a Japanese company, not as important. But if you do business in the United States, clearly, and you need to do a presentation,
right? You
want to be able to present, be understood, and not have everybody raising their hand every 5 minutes and saying, "Can you repeat that?" So those are the things that we work on. Pronunciation, very important, and
Yes.
I think it's well worthwhile. So,
Mhm.
like I said, please talk to Lily, and she can
Mhm.
schedule you for courses and make recommendations.
Mhm.
I'll be talking to Lily and making my recommendations to her.
Mhm.
And especially in pronunciation, we go through each of these pronunciations in depth.
Mhm.
And we also try to create conversational situations in which you're using these pronunciations so that you're just not reading words and words, but in fact, you're inserting these pronunciations into the conversation so that you become more fluent,
Mhm.
right? And don't forget, fluency doesn't mean no accent. Accents are almost impossible to eliminate, but confidence and communication
Mhm.
aren't. That is the goal.
Mhm.
All right. So again, thank you very much for participating today. I would love to see you guys in some of the other sessions, and good luck. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you, Martin.
Thank
This is
you.
very helpful. Yeah,
I
thank
hope
you very
so.
much.
And I think that there's a good amount that can be learned from them. All righty. So thank you very much, and I'll see
Thank
you guys.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now.